You guys like him? Hey guys, Alex here from Mr. Build It, and in today's video we're in our kids' bedroom. Now, though this room doesn't need any kind of beautifying or any kind of major transformation, our kids play with their toys here and it doesn't give them much room for activities. What this room is lacking is room. So we're gonna take these two separate twin beds and turn it into that. So that was wasting time. Let me show you how I did it. Let's get into the video. Let's go.
I was knocked down, heard the countdown through the haze in the face of defeat. Yeah.
All right, a quick little trip. So let me show you the goodies that I got here. So we got here 4x6. I think it's gonna be a tank. And the 2x6 is right there. I'm kind of figuring this thing out as I'm going, so I'm just glad you're along for the ride.
Because the boards have imperfections in them, to save on sanding, I ran them through a thickness planer and trimmed off the round over edges to clean them up a bit. You can always use a sander to accomplish this as well.
Okay, all of our boards are all done up. In a way, we can say we milled them, kind of. Based off my kids' existing mattresses, they're about 38.5 wide and like 76 inches long. So long, I don't know. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna start cutting these up into the dimensions 38.5, 76, and then create pocket holes in them. That'll be the assembling to the actual post. The nice thing is the 4x6 posts that I have, they're actually 8 feet tall exactly, and my ceilings, you guessed it, 8 feet exactly. Lucky day.
After the 2x6 boards were cut to size, I patched up all the knots with wood filler and then sanded with 120 grit sandpaper. Then I used a pocket hole jig to create the 3 pocket holes that will attach the 2x6 boards to the 4x6 posts.
So before I get too carried away, I'm gonna use a stud finder and find exactly where all the studs are. That way I'll make sure that everything's secured nice and tight to this wall and it ain't going nowhere. All right, so my posts are up. I got my pocket holes all lined up here. It's gonna be 3 per section. I got my nice long 2.5-inch pocket screws. Here's the thing, typically I use a wood glue along the pocket holes. My only fear is because these are nice big posts and this is a pretty big piece of end grain, wood glue typically gets sucked in, at least the first coat, then it dries off and then the next coat is actually the strong part. So to make it actually a stronger joint, I'm gonna go with an all-in-one adhesive from Super Glue. This is heavy duty stuff, so we're gonna put a nice layer down and then use pocket holes, and then this tank ain't going nowhere.
You know, one of the nice things about Total Tech from the original Super Glue is that it's also paintable, so we won't have to worry about any of it squeezing out the joint when securing with screws. Now, I think if I was to redo this project ever again, I would have probably assembled the front and back long sections on the floor first, and then lift them up as a unit. You know, that way it'll be easier to ensure that every corner of this build is actually square.
To explode. So I've been told that I should fold and give in. I can't win in this game, no. But you can hear me laughing. I'm the new thing in this field. You should kneel instead of me now.
All right, we are cooking now. I love how girthy these posts look. Okay, so here's one other thing I want to do. I want to continue this pattern on top, there, back, and this side. The thing is I don't want to buy another one of these side posts, not because they're, you know, 13 bucks a piece, mostly because without the brackets, I don't know how to safely secure, because they're pretty heavy, through the sides here without having to create joinery and complicate these builds for you guys. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a faux beam. I see this in tons of houses where the beams are super high, the thing looks like a beam, and all it is there'll be like a 2x4 or something like that, or 2x6, and then a 3-part panel that looks like a beam slides on and then screws to the side, because everything's gonna be painted anyway, so I think it'll give it that girthy full look. So we'll do the same exact size on top. Let's go to the garage.
Now the faux beams are made of MDF and 2x4s. The MDF is cut to size in a way that when assembled, it will be the identical size of our 4x6 posts.
All right, I'm gonna show you how they create faux beams. Got everything cut to size, check this out. And basically just like that, this is how our beam is gonna sit. The 2x4 is gonna be secured into the studs of the walls, and then this is gonna sit right over it perfectly. And then we're just gonna put a couple of screws on the sides, a little bit of wood filler, and nobody will know the difference.
If you choose to use 4x6 posts to the top of the beams instead of making faux beams, you can pre-drill 2 to 3 holes at an angle and drive long 8-inch core screws through the posts, kind of like they do when installing solid wood mantles over fireplaces.
So because, you know, these aren't long enough the way they sell them, we're gonna use a little bit of a round over, cut with a miter. Drive a few in there. Don't put too many nails in there. You don't wanna keep patching them all up. Just like that. Let's do the other side.
No, I'm about to explode.
Okay, so it was important to Irina that we have a storage space underneath the bunk beds. That way we could put extra blankets if kids want to have a sleepover, stuff like that. So I wanted to create it light because it's going to be a very large drawer. So I'm using a 1/2 inch, not 3/4, 1/2 inch maple plywood. I'm just creating a simple joint box around this thing, and then we'll slide it in. And I just gave it like a 1/2 inch gap on the sides, and then 14 inches deep. So I'm gonna start cutting it up and assembling with brad nails and glue.
The drawer is assembled with simple butt joints and held together with glue and brad nails. Now, because how long our drawer is, I threw in a few screws just to reinforce it. Well, because kids. Enough said. To conceal the side of the drawer compartment, I just cut a scrap piece of MDF fit to size and secured it from the inside to the post with pocket holes and screws.
All right, folks, to do shiplap vertically, not horizontal. Horizontal is a little bit easier because the studs are going vertically. You position shiplap sideways and then you just nail it exactly where the studs are. Now the problem is when we want them vertically, courtesy of Mint and Pine, Irina, my wife, we need the studs to be horizontal, so we have to create our own studding. These are 1x2s, they're a little bit over $1 a piece. I picked up about 12 of them. Yeah, 12 of them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna frame out along the top, sides, and edges, and then I'm gonna do horizontal pieces, and that will allow for us to connect everything together. So I'm gonna start screwing or nailing the stuff in, and then we'll start applying the shiplap. So let's go.
When installing the 1x2s, be sure to mark out where your existing studs are first and then secure the 1x2s using framing nails or screws. Be sure to also have 1x2s running around the perimeter of the area as well in order to have a strong and level base for the shiplap.
The trick with shiplap is it has like a tongue and groove kind of puzzle piece. So what you would want to have is these two pieces line up like that, exposing a small 1/8 inch gap like so. So what do we install? We do one piece at a time. We put this board, drive the nails through this tongue or groove, and then put the next one over it, securing it on the opposite side. That way you don't leave any holes on this thing.
After installing this vertically, I later learned my lesson that I would still require to add another brad nail on the opposite edge of the shiplap in order to adequately secure to the wall without having any issues later down the road.
I'm about to explode.
So I'm gonna need to figure out how to attach the brackets or the drawer slides for the big drawer that's gonna be here. And because I have this big gap here, I need to figure out how to fix it. So my solution is gonna be to take these 2x6s, cut the side with pocket holes, and then secure it from, look, basically tower to tower, anchor, or pillar to pillar, and then to this attach the actual drawer slides. So I think might be the best solution possible. So let's get that installed now.
I usually use these premium ball bearing drawer slides on all of my drawer builds, but since this drawer is so dang wide, there's side to side flex when opening and closing this thing. So this is probably the only time I would recommend using the cheap wide drawer slides that basically acts as a guided rail to help eliminate that flex.
Okay, so here is our base frame for our drawer. Very basic, very simple. So first things first, I need to put a bevel edge around it to keep things from tearing out. If these corners are sharp, it's easy for it to catch something and then tear out. But if you round them over, they're a lot stronger. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do, round over. Then I'm gonna create a line down the middle. That's how the pattern was. And then every, I don't know, we'll say every 6 inches, we'll create a 60-degree angle, spreading it wide. I'm gonna use a straight edge to trace my pattern out and then use a track saw with about an 1/8 inch depth to start creating all the grooves. All right, so this being my first time building this style of bed, here's the problem, just like any project I just ran into. The mattress that the boys have, typically twin size beds, are 38 inches wide and 74 inches long, and then they just get longer, like I think it's 38 by 74 or 80 something and then 84. Anywho, I'm keeping mine at 38 by 74, that's the mattresses they have. The problem is the inset on this tends to make it too long, and then the width here, I wanted to keep it flush. To counter and solve this issue, obviously I have to match this thickness here. Here's what I'm gonna do. I've cut basically a double of each one of these that I'm gonna secure this way and then put a piece over. And that's gonna allow for me to have 38 to 38 and then 75-ish this way, which is gonna be just fine because, you know, a little bit longer mattress, you can tuck the blanket. So we found a solution. So I'm gonna start putting some screws into these pocket holes and get that going. Let's go.
After the 2x6 boards were attached to the box frame via the pocket holes and pocket hole screws, I glued down the MDF and secured it with brad nails on both the top and bottom bunks. This is the perfect opportunity to attach the ledge that will hold the slats for the mattress, basically the box spring. I just ripped the 2x4 in half, pre-drilled some holes and secured it to the sides of the bunk bed frames. This was now the time for start patching up all the brad nails and start sanding this project down for primer.
All right, so while the wood filler is drying, I'm gonna take this time to start filling in all the nooks, crevices, and I'm using this product from Superglue called Total Tech. It's a heavy-duty all-in-one adhesive, and what it's nice about it is that it's, number one, it's 3.5% more elongating. So when the movement of whatever happens, constricting, expanding with seasonal change, it'll go with it. It's paintable, which will allow for us to paint right over it when we're done. And it has like a tensile strength of 430 PSI. So that's gonna be that added structural support all over in case we missed it somewhere. The nice thing is it dries in an hour. So I'm gonna get this punctured and start filling in everything, getting all ready.
You're rolling your belly? Now, because bare wood acts as a sponge when applying paint, we need to block the pores and give the paint a good chance from chipping over time. Now, my youngest son Beckham gave me a hand rolling on the first water-based primer coat. After it dried, I used my favorite paint product. The product is called Urethane Emerald Alkyd. It's made by different brands, but which is basically a product that's easy to work with like a latex paint, you know, diluted with water and whatnot, but strong and durable like an oil-based paint when it comes to longevity. For the box frame, I needed only one sheet of 1/2-inch maple plywood. I ripped it into 5-inch strips on my table saw, rounded over the edges with a palm router, and secured them using 1 1/4-inch screws onto the 2x2s that I installed earlier.
All right, since the paint is all dry, before I'm gonna start installing the drawers and mattresses and the doors, I wanted to keep this open, so I'm gonna surprise my kids by installing some LED lights around this thing, so hopefully they'll like it. Let's do it.
Because the power source and the module will be under the bed, I didn't want the drawer to get in the way when it's open and closed. So I used these mounting strips from the original Superglue to secure both the AC power converter and the LED module to the bed frame, suspending it over the drawer and keeping the cables out of the way.
For the railing, it's gonna be the 1x2. It's gonna be stacked, maybe 3 of them vertically on the side grain. I think it's gonna look great. Select pine stains very well, so we won't have any issues there. Now, as far as the ladder is just gonna be the side of the bunk bed, and I'm just gonna have 4, maybe 5 railings coming across. The only issue that I'm running into is that they don't have 2x2 select pine. So I'm gonna have to make my own 2x2. And so the only way to really do it is I'm just gonna put a bunch of glue down here, stick this together, clamp it, let it sit overnight, and then we'll put some pocket holes and start installing this thing. So kind of making things up as we go.
After the 2x2s dried, I sanded everything smooth, rounded over the edges, and drilled 2 pocket holes at the ends. I finished them off by applying 1 coat of stain, wiped the excess off, and applied 3 coats of water-based satin polyurethane using a very inexpensive HVLP sprayer. When installing the ladder and the railing, I used Total Tech heavy-duty adhesive and pocket screws to secure both the railing and the steps to the post. Using a small level to ensure that everything is straight and leveled, I wiped off any excess adhesive using rubbing alcohol and a simple paper towel. Before the mattress went on, I installed and secured the face frame to the drawer using 1-inch screws, and I spaced it out to be 1 inch off the ground to act as our drawer pull.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Big thank you to sponsor today's video, the original Super Glue. If you guys are brand new to the channel and you like videos like this or any other kind of home improvement project, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there and tap that notification bell. That way you'll be alerted every time a video comes out. Follow me on social media. All the links, including the merch section, will be down in the description below. Remember guys, courage and sweat. You have to have the courage to try these projects and the sweat to put in the hard work to accomplish these things. Tune in this week. We'll see you guys on the next one. See ya. Bye. There we go. We got a hole. They're gonna look nice and nice. They're gonna look nice. It's just single now. What's the worst that can happen? What's your house? Solving problems. That's what we're in the business for. Solving problems. Shut up. All right. We're just teaching people how to get started, and that is it.